Hi and welcome. Today I'm making a spread in my square watercolor journal from Kunst Papier, and I'm going to use the Distress Oxide ink pads for the background. And I try out a technique that I discovered recently during my last video, I believe. I stamped with the oxides and I had some ink left on my stamp, and I decided to spritz it with water and then stamp it, and that gave me a super pretty effect that I wanted to try out how this is going to work on a full spread and with different stamps. Today I'm using stamps from the Carve Collection #1, and here I picked, I think, the crushed olive and the forest moss, and here I'm spritzing my stamp with water. I will stamp it a few times to use up all the ink I have, and I really love how this is turning out. I will clip my page to the whole book so it does not buckle, and then I'm going to use a brush and a bit of water to blend in some parts of that stamped image. I will let this layer dry and later come back to add a second layer of stamping to create more depth. I also want to stamp something to the left top corner, and I'm going to use the smaller versions of these leafy stamps. I usually only work on the right side in this journal, so I cleaned my stamp on the left. As these pages buckle a lot, I prefer working only on the right side of the book. I think the left corner needs some smaller stamps, and as I said, I pick the smaller ones from the same set. I'm stamping the leaves upside down to the left corner just to balance everything out, and I'm going to use the seedless preserves together with the forest moss. And here I will also blend it a bit with my brush. While this layer is drying, I will prepare my potential main images for the page. At this stage I wasn't sure which ones I'm going to pick, and here I tried out that stamping technique, and I decided to use black soot together with flowers from the pencil marks #4, and I'm adding the black soot to the stamp, give it a spritz with water, and then I stamp it, and that gives such a beautiful image. I'm going to fill the whole sheet with these flower images, and then I have some left over to use for other projects or on tags. I think this technique will also work wonderful on a background for a scrapbooking layout or on some clean and simple greeting cards. From time to time you have to dry the stamp again, because otherwise the ink will not stay to it very well and the images will become more fluidy and not as crisp as I want them. I think I will speed this up a little bit so you don't get bored. The page is almost fully dry, and here I'm just adding some water droplets to the background so the ink gets a little bit reactivated and gives me a little bit more texture. And here you can see these droplets had left some marks. I let that dry again, and here I'm back for some more stamping to create more depth on my page. My Distress Oxide pads, or a lot of my Distress ink pads, seem to fall out of their box. I find this is pretty annoying. Not sure if you also have this problem. I really like the depth that created, and I will do the same thing to the bottom right corner. I have prepared my main images by just cutting them out. I plan to use them in black and white because I feel that this gives me a nice contrast against the beautiful background. I feel that the white area in the middle is a bit too white and I need a bit of a filler, and I also wanted to have something underneath the flowers. And here I picked a ticket stamp from the Mixed Media Marks and I just stamp it randomly to the area where I'm going to put the flowers. And I'm also going to add some splatters in black, and therefore I'm using just the Distress Oxide ink pad and I squish it to my glass plate, add a bit of water, and I can make the droplets. I will let this dry and then come back and adhere my flowers. I'm not sure if it's visible on camera, but I used that Paul Rubens shimmery paper to stamp them. And when you don't have any color on the paper, you can see that glittery effect, and that's perfect for black and white images, of course. For the top left corner, I think I will use only half of the flower to complete the layout. To finish my page up, I have cut out some words that I have embossed in white to black cardstock with my Mix the Sentiment stamp sets, and I just put them into the upper left corner. And I found that the right corner at the bottom is a bit empty, so I add the ticket stamp again. Yes, and that is my page for today. I hope you are inspired and maybe you want to try out this technique with the Distress Oxides. I'm pretty sure that this also works really nice with the Distress inks, and I will try it in the future, of course. I wish you a wonderful weekend and hopefully we will see us next week. Bye!